Welcome to Linux Saloon, a place to discuss tech, open source, and where Linux is always on tap. Each show will have a talk about a Linux project, such as a distribution, desktop environment, application. You know, we haven't done a desktop environment in a while. Ginger, is there anything cool out there that you think we should try?
Got nothing.
Cool.
I have a suggestion.
What's that?
You remember that Katana desktop I was talking to you about? We haven't looked at that yet.
Which one?
Katana, the KD4 fork.
You
We
know,
haven't
should
looked
into
at that yet, Nate.
Anyway, so I just
Actually, that's a good
interrupted
thought.
my whole introduction thing here.
Yeah,
So,
you threw me off guard,
also-
got me.
Do applications. So we also chat about the news or any variety of topics from the community. Anything that's Linux, tech, and open source related is on the table for discussion. I'm Nate, a Linux fitness and vintage tech enthusiast with an almost unhealthy obsession with the OpenSUSE project. And with me today, I got a fantastic foursome here. I've got Ben, Jinda, Mike, and I guess I have myself. So how is everybody?
Excellent.
Yay, and I see Mike's got 2 thumbs up there. Look at that. That's great.
I am very happy, Nate.
I know you are.
Right. If I was any better, I'd be you, Nate.
Whoa!
Ooh, wow. I think that'd be a downgrade there, Mike.
Oh,
So-
good Lord. If I was any better, there would be 2 of me.
Whoa!
If you have not done so already, be sure to do the straw poll. For which the question is, which email front end do you prefer? It's a little more general.
If I was to answer that question, you wouldn't
Don't do
like
yet.
my answer.
Don't do yet. We're not there yet.
I'm not gonna.
So on the docket for today, we're going to talk about some email applications that we've been playing with. I put 3 in there so far. There might be some others that if anyone else has tried some, can go ahead and. I suppose I should probably give you guys the access to the show notes. Not
Yes,
you in
you should.
YouTube, because anybody in YouTube might do some weird things. But those that have decided to participate,
Nate, quick thing. Shaston will be
Yes.
joining us sometime tonight.
excellent.
Yes.
So
And Ricky is on his way. I just don't know how
he
long.
just joined. Yep. So Ricky just joined.
Oh,
There's
there's
a
Mr. Rickles.
The Fantastic Five? I don't know. Ricky, good to see you again. Nice to have you aboard
Welcome back,
or
Mr. Ricky.
in the house or some other kind of colloquial term for being a part of the festivities here.
Okay.
So, but first, what have you been doing in Linux and tech? So I had something very exciting happen
Yeah.
this week, and I want to just share with the class.
Mm-hmm.
I got a zip drive.
Uh-oh.
Now this is a USB zip drive.
Oh,
I'm not sure what this port is. Is that a parallel port? Mike, do you know?
That's a parallel port.
Looks that way.
Yeah, they
is that
had
the like
2 of
the
them.
Citrix?
One on the printer side. Yeah,
Yeah, the Citrix.
the wires went that way.
Yeah.
Oh.
The wires were
Yeah,
like in a U.
Wasn't sure if you had to clip on. Is this the type you had to clip on? Looks like it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it looks like there's like little features there for you to have the clip thing go on there. Anyway, it's got USB right here. So USB B. Not sure how fast these things actually could transfer data. But yeah, Chris, this is a
Not
blast from the
very.
past. I did have. It came with some zip disks, a bunch of 100s and one 250. I think just one 250. And this works. So I want you. I want just as a thought. How much configuration do you think I had to do to get it to work in on OpenSUSE Tumbleweed? Best guess.
Nothing. You just plugged it in
Correct.
and ran. Yeah.
Yep, that's all I did. It was the most plug and play bit of vintage technology I think I've ever played with, and I thought that was pretty cool. So, did anybody here ever use zip disks?
Back in the day, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
No.
long time ago.
I only used it for college. So Chris says prob tons. So I'm going to go ahead and assume prob tons means he used it a lot. I'd be interested in knowing what he did with that. But
So
anyway,
they were from trying to remember, 1994 about? 95 era? Is when I'm thinking they were popular.
So I thought it was a little bit later than that. I
Yeah,
could be wrong.
because I used to use them for backup of my client projects because they were so reliable. That would have been in the early 2000s. So,
Okay.
The knowledge that I know of about the zip disk is I've watched like a few videos on it. It was really popular like during the late 90s, between 1997 and 1999.
I used them in college, which would have been 99. Well, actually, it would have been about 2000, I think. So I
Okay.
used them.
I was out of college, I'm pretty sure, the first time I used one. So that would have been somewhere probably around 94, 5, 6, somewhere in there, I think.
So
Trying to remember.
Yeah. So I see. So Chris says no. You had to configure. Oh wait, no. He just the crud to see SUSE to see it. LOL. Although you retracted the message after I clicked on it. So anyway, so I did not actually have to configure anything, which is pretty cool. So Mike, you said you used to back up client data projects on them?
yeah,
That's cool.
client data and projects up with it. And it was super reliable. I never had a zip disk go bad that I can remember.
Hey, the click of death on a lot of drives, I thought that was an issue.
Yeah. The click
Was that
of death.
Was that like the early ones, or I wonder?
Well, it must have been because there were several models of it, and
Right.
that one you got is of course the 250. And they also had, I think there were 3 different interfaces you could get. You could get USB on the 250, parallel on the 250, and the 100s you could actually get parallel or SCSI, if I remember right.
Okay. Yeah, I think I did get a Jazz drive, but I got it like from somebody, and I never actually did anything with it. So Ron Singh says, ton of zips used and the Jazz drive too. So I wonder if you use a Jazz drive for like system backups, I'm wondering. And Don Lackland says, those were expensively awesome back in the day. Yeah. And Low Tech Linux says, I'm very fond of and use Kmail. That's good. We're going to get to that. And yes, Chris, I said it worked out of the box. So I unpacked it, I plugged it in, and it just popped up as soon as I put a disk in there. So that I thought was pretty cool. Not a thing. I didn't have to do a single thing.
I was trying to remember how much immediate cost. It seemed like that the 100s were pretty inexpensive around 2000, but the 250s were about $60 or $70 a piece for the media. That sounds right to everybody?
Huh.
Okay.
I don't remember what they cost back then.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. I'm curious now because I probably should have done this ahead of time. So zip drives developed by iOmega were a portable storage device used in using high capacity floppy disk cartridges. They were introduced in 1994 with the initial Zip 100 drive offering 100 megabytes of storage. Later versions included the Zip 250, which came out in 1998, and the Zip 750, which came out in 2002, increasing capacity even further. They were popular in the late 90s for backups and data transfer, competing with floppy disks and early CDRs. iOmega officially discontinued the zip drives and disks in 2008 as USB flash drives, external hard drives, and cloud storage became more affordable and convenient. The decline was driven by higher costs per megabyte and reliability issues, like the click of death hardware failure. So I wonder which drives are susceptible to hardware click of death.
Didn't they have another one that was similar to zip disk?
There was the Jazz.
Oh, the Jazz drive. That's what it was.
And there was a tape drive.
Oh, that was a tape drive. Yeah, they had a couple of ones on the market that were similar to each other, and I don't remember all of them. Then they had PCIe MCA slots. that had a bunch of weird stuff for them?
Oh yeah, they did for like notebook computers.
Yeah, yeah. They had, you could have a video card or a NIC card or a hard drive or,
Nate, I just looked on Amazon and you can get a 5 pack of 100 megabyte discs by Fuji for $28.
Huh.
Well, they've gotten cheap, that's for sure.
So yeah, I guess I'm prone to mechanical failure, but I'm going to enjoy this for the time being. Not for anything critical, just for fun. My plan is to just I don't know, put fun things on there. So yeah. Anyway, retro tech. I like it. I like old things. I always wanted one.
Well, the other cool thing too, if the hardware does fail, you can just get another one and those discs will work fine with it.
Right.
I mean,
That is a neat thing about it.
yeah.
That is a neat thing. So I say Ron joined. He's going to tell us about his zip and jazz adventures. At least that's what I was hoping. But it's okay if you don't. Now, also keep in mind tomorrow is Mother's Day, so it's not too late to run to the store. Just so you know. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the straw poll. So there's still a few moments here to do the straw poll. I'm going to read some of the replies before we get to the straw poll. So if you're going to do that. But which email front end do you prefer? So, just in case it's not there, in case you missed it, there you are. So it's not too late. So Chris, it's not too late. Go get something for your mom if you haven't done it so already. So one of the replies, first reply was, I actually just switched from Betterbird back to Thunderbird like probably 2 weeks ago. It wasn't for any technical reasons. Betterbird was quite nice. However, I switched back because my family uses Thunderbird and I needed to be able to troubleshoot. That's a good reason. I was looking forward to the discussion about email clients. I used Thunderbird for about 9 years and was generally happy with it until I found Betterbird, so just the opposite. And the 2 or 3 buggy things that aggravated me about Thunderbird went away. So I've never seen Betterbird, and maybe.
oh no! Oh, I can put it on the link here.
All right. Well, let's start with Betterbird.
There, this is Betterbird.
A guy,
I used it a couple of times. It's nice. I mean, the similarities between that and Thunderbird are so much.
Yeah.
I didn't really notice much of a difference.
well, the big difference is it's not buggy like Thunderbird is.
Yeah, it did. Right. That's pretty much about it.
So when I used Thunderbird, I didn't find it particularly buggy. What would be your problem with it?
Yeah. The biggest issue is I have multiple email accounts, and the combined mailbox was so buggy, and they've never. I used Thunderbird for a long time, and they would never fix it. Stuff would happen like when a message would come in, you would see 2 copies of the message in the inbox.
Yep. Yeah, it likes to do that.
But if you went to the mailbox down below, it was right with just one. And that was just one of about 3 or 4 things that it used to do that just aggravated me to death. And sometimes it would just hang on the send. And it wasn't just one server, it would just randomly do that. But those things just kind of went away when I switched to Betterbird. I'm not saying it's the best mousetrap, but for me, it sure works. So.
Well, Don Lackland says, RTF and HTML and email was a mistake. He's probably right. I always keep it in plain text mode for my email client. All right. So if you have not voted yet, please do so. I'm going to go ahead and check the numbers right now. And so the number one answer at 63% is email client application or GUI. The number two answer is webmail or website with 23%. And then in the third place is email client through the terminal. Who are you people? I would like to know what terminal application you use for email client. Shaston, okay, why am I not surprised that Shaston raised his hand on that one? That's
NeoMutt.
NeoMutt.
I haven't
Okay.
used it. Yeah, I haven't used it in a while, but yeah, it's actually kind of nice though because you don't. How do I put it? It's I don't know. It's like something from like my Luke Smith era, like where like when I'd write emails, I would write them offline, and then when I connected the internet, it would just send the emails out automatically. It was nice.
Okay, it is a camel-cased a capital M mutt, all one word, two T's, and there we are.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's cool. Okay, and then in fourth
Who
place
are
is
you
other.
guys? Maybe I'll write one in like write a NeoVim plugin for an email client. I think that'd be cool,
or
actually.
Emacs. I think you could probably do Emacs, right?
Yeah, yeah. Emacs is slow though. That's what I don't like. Whenever you're dealing with like large data sets, like it starts lagging. But it's
How
actually
large are these
easier to
data
set up
sets?
Emacs. What?
How large are these data
Yeah,
sets?
so pretty large, a couple of gigabytes.
Oh, I'll give it a break then.
Yeah.
So, and tied for fourth place is Other and Tux Penguin. So Tux Penguin got a vote. I'm not sure what. No,
What is
there we are.
Tux Penguin?
Tux Penguin is basically. I don't really want to. I don't have an answer on that one. It's basically like a.
Oh yeah.
It's like a discard, sandbag.
Okay, I gotcha. All right.
Well, cool. Interesting. I actually would not have thought that an email client would have been the number one answer on that one. I was expecting web client to be number one. Well, that's a surprise to me. I'm
Yeah,
not
that would be
surprised
my
very often.
second choice.
I guess
Right,
it
so I guess-
depends on what your requirements are, really. Because, I mean, if you just need to check Gmail or whatever, yeah, there's no reason to have a client.
Right.
If you have to manage multiple accounts and do mail outs and do autoresponders and all that kind of jazz, then that's when you start getting into the heavy stuff.
Right. No, it makes sense. All right, so I guess the first one I want to talk about then I guess is Betterbird, because well, it's kind of fresh in my mind right now, and I'm interested in knowing, for those that use Betterbird, what would you say are some of its key standout features? Like this is what I like about it. Besides, it's less buggy than Thunderbird.
Well, that is the number one reason why I use it. I mean, I like Thunderbird, the concept of it, and the add-on concept and all that.
The add-on concept.
So, yeah, I mean, because like for instance, I can do a mail merge through Thunderbird with just a CSV file, because there's an add-on to do that. I can do autoresponders. I
Really?
can do email templates. Yeah. Because it has a JavaScript engine that allows people to write add-ons for.
Interesting. Okay. Now, is that the same add-on that Thunderbird uses? Is using the same repository of add-ons?
Yep. It's the same code base pretty much. They've just kind of gone in and fixed the bugs and sped up some things. Like the search is incredibly slow on Thunderbird if you're doing like a local folder with thousands of emails in it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it takes literally a minute or two, to find an email. And where
Gotcha.
Betterbird in the same situation will do it in just about 5 or 10 seconds.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to try this Betterbird like right as we speak, just to see what's like all the
Yeah,
hoopla.
do it. So,
Yeah, if you just do simple email, it may be overkill for you, but it has a lot of features to help you organize your email and
right.
maintain it.
So Scrubgo says, I would prefer a client to handle multiple accounts. And that's probably why I like using an email client is the multiple account business.
Absolutely.
And then Sean says, hey all. Hello, Sean. Feel free to join. If you're up for it. I know you're probably 3D printing and room's noisy. I don't know. So I guess that brings us to Thunderbird then. So Thunderbird, that's kind of like the OG, I think, of email clients. I feel like. Would you say that's a fairly accurate statement? It used to be Mozilla Thunderbird, and I think it's just Thunderbird now.
Yeah.
So
there's been a lot of turmoil though with Mozilla and Thunderbird. When Thunderbird went off on its own, that everybody thought that was going to be a good thing, and now they're back to Mozilla again. So,
are they back to Mozilla now? I know Mozilla
I'm
basically
pretty-
was trying to push them off. But I felt like a few
Yeah.
months ago, there's a lot of momentum behind Thunderbird. Like there's a renewed sense of
Right.
excitement around the project.
Yeah, they did a pretty big release last year, or maybe it was the end of 23. It was either the first of 24 or the end of 23, where they redesigned a lot of the GUI.
Mm-hmm.
There were already bugs, and that introduced a lot more bugs. And they worked through a lot of them, but they still have several that are hanging out there that they haven't fixed yet.
So I do know Thunderbird and the K9 for Android, they've become like one thing now. And so they're sharing a code base. And I thought that was very interesting. So, although my client still says K9Mail, I don't know if is that supposed to change? Does anybody know?
Yeah, I think the beta, if you run Thunderbird, there's actually a thing on the menu to export your accounts to the mobile client.
Mm-hmm.
I tried it. It worked okay as long as you didn't do more than like 2 or 3 accounts.
Okay. That was just a bit too much, huh?
Yeah, I guess it was timing out maybe because of all the data that it was receiving.
Yeah, so I was using Thunderbird daily for quite a while when I was having problems with my regular email client that I've been using for a couple decades, Kmail. And it was all right, but there's some of the just some like UI things I just preferred the way Kmail handled it. And I probably could have like hotkeyed and like made Thunderbird work better, but I ended up going back to Kmail ultimately. But I did notice that the plugin system. I still have Thunderbird installed. I did notice with the plugin system that there's a lot of neat things you could do with it, and I thought that was pretty cool.
I would say that's probably one of its main strengths, that of the multi-account, having multiple accounts.
Yeah. So there's that. Does anybody here use Thunderbird on the regular? Jinda?
I used to use it years ago, but I haven't used any email clients for a good number of years because the way I do email is I mainly just do it on the email websites themselves.
Right. If I may ask, and you can feel free to say Nunya Business, but what email service provider do you use?
The main one that I use Gmail mainly for YouTube and a few other things. Hotmail, and the other one that I'm more commonly used than the other two is Proton Mail.
Okay. It seems like
Yeah, I
it's got
use Proton Mail in my browser sometimes.
yeah. Do you use it in the terminal with NeoMutt?
Yeah, actually, I set that up once. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that was really nice.
Now, Jinda, is there anything about like Thunderbird that you wish it did?
I did, and then I downloaded Bird Tray, and it does now what I want.
What's Bird Tray?
Bird Tray makes it for when you can't close the program. So if I accidentally close Thunderbird, it stays open.
Oh,
Bird
okay.
Tray would put up an icon or a number to say how many emails I have
Okay, like in your
for
system
me
tray, or whatever.
automatically in that tray. Yeah,
Yeah.
it does all those little things that I wanted Thunderbird to do. It added those features to it.
Okay.
Let me slap those in the thing, and you guys can check out Bird Tray if you want it.
Cool. I'm gonna click on this. Check it
Yeah,
out.
I'm really happy. I've been using Bird Tray for, oh my God, I don't know how long. Years.
Put that in the show notes.
Yeah, it works very well. It adds a lot of features to Thunderbird that I thought Thunderbird should have, except for the other one that we all wanted to have. If you have two email clients, it's absolutely useless. But it didn't fix that, but it fixed everything else.
Well, I have
So
to say this Betterbird is actually kind of impressive. It's a big improvement over Thunderbird
Yeah,
in
it
like
is.
so many ways. Yeah. Yeah, I was like when they were like, yeah, it's a big change and all this, and I kind of looked at it, I was like, it doesn't look like it's a big change, so I just didn't. This actually is not bad. I could actually use this.
Well,
Yeah.
good. When I used Thunderbird, I did use multiple email clients, and I didn't think I had a problem with it.
Mm.
I don't recall having a problem with it anyway. Anyway. Well, neat. Anything else you want to say about Thunderbird? Sean or Swift or Ricky? Ben? Mike?
actually, I have a question for Jinda.
Uh-oh.
Do you have any reason to want to bust a move from Thunderbird with, wow, I've lost track of Bird Tray. Yeah.
Oh, Bird Tray is just an add-on for Thunderbird to
Yeah.
add those features to it. So, I mean,
So if you add that to Thunderbird, you have no real reason to
run away from
leave that behind and
yeah.
move on to
Betterbird, maybe.
Betterbird.
I
Yeah.
might. I'm gonna try Betterbird again. I tried it when it came out, and like everybody said, I couldn't tell the difference between that and Thunderbird. So I'll try it again. I don't see why
So
I
are
should
you
actually.
one of these freaks that have an inbox that has 70,000 entries like me?
Yeah.
No. I rarely get an email. Hopefully, I try to keep
Yeah,
it low.
it's my flat database, so yeah.
Well, I
So
got about
last
half
week-
that.
Last week during the post show when Shasta and I were discussing things, actually I got through about 2,000 emails. So cleaning them out, and now I'm down. Now I have like whatever just came in today, like a few minutes ago. So I got 5 unread emails. So
Wow.
there's that. So Shaston, thank you for keeping me focused and cleaning out my email last week.
No
Appreciate
problem.
that. So
I've got
Mike-
I've got emails going back to 2005 from a pediatrician for my kids who are in their 30s now. Not sure why I keep this stuff, but
That's hilarious.
there it is.
because what's really the problem in keeping it? I mean, it's how many kilobytes of information, and then you can
Yes,
look back and like,
yes.
oh, the memories of going to the pediatrician. Oh, look at this email. I remember what a good time that was.
Yeah, but multiply that by 70,000. Okay.
Well, that's what PST files are for on Outlook, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
Mike,
like,
go ahead.
okay.
I'm sorry, Chasten. No, Chasten, you talk.
All right. So I was gonna say about 12 years ago, I suffered a workplace injury, and so like I have like all of these emails, or like thousands of emails, back and forth between my caseworkers, my surgeon, this, that, and the other, and yeah, I sometimes like kind of go back and like just like read some of those emails.
That's fun. So, Anna
Yeah.
Rita says, so I have zero emails. I have zero emails always as I check it every day. She says, I always delete my old emails and email I answer. But how do you keep like your thread of conversation? Chris says my email goes back to 2016. That's it? Those are rookie numbers.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I think my first Gmail account was back from like 2004 or 5, something like that.
I have emails still from the 90s because I moved accounts over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
have questions for the bird tray crowd.
Oh, fire away.
Okay.
Now, I tried using Thunderbird, and the only way I could kind of make it okay for myself was to use bird tray, because why on earth does it not have notifications by default?
Oh, I actually
So,
prefer to keep those notifications turned off,
well,
actually.
that's and I totally get that, I do, but to not have the option to be able to turn notifications
Oh,
on is
okay,
ridiculous.
gotcha.
But
Yeah,
my question is, I switched to Wayland full time
I'm
quite a long
sorry.
time ago, and bird tray did not work at the time. Does it still not work in Wayland?
Oh,
Does
I don't
anybody?
know. I don't have Wayland to know.
Last I knew, bird tray did not work in Wayland, which is why I jumped in here with everybody talking about bird tray. If you're on Wayland session, it may not work. I don't know. Haven't used Thunderbird in a while, and
Hmm.
mainly because of that, because when I switched to Wayland, bird tray didn't work, and I thought, well, Thunderbird sucks if I don't get notifications. So I went back to Kmail,
Yep.
Hmm.
which works like a charm in KDE on Wayland.
Yeah.
Hey, Daniel, Betterbird has notifications, and you can turn them on and off. They'll pop up in the top corner of your monitor.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about this with email clients, but so Don Leckland says, I try, and he puts in parentheses with big letters, try to archive stuff every year so it's there if I need to search, but I don't see it. I'd like to know what he uses, when he says he archives it, how does he do that? I'm actually kind of curious. But, okay. So, bird tray with Thunderbird. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it's working by now, I would think. So I think the reason I was actually kind of annoyed with Thunderbird, which made me go back to Kmail, was the GTK theming is always kind of annoying to me because it doesn't have like, so like in Plasma I
Yeah.
modify my my buttons the way I want it, and so I have like, so from right to left I have the close button, the maximize, the minimize button, I guess you would call it that. And then I have a keep above and then a keep below. And I use that a lot. It's something that I use just instinctively a lot. So I can keep things above. You can do that in Plasma by like right clicking and forcing it to happen, but it's an extra bunch of clicks and menus. And so I don't like that. I'm sure I could create a hotkey to do that. But, or you can just click a button. And I like to see the indication of it if it's how it's set. So, I like that ability. And so I like the cute windows, QT windows, cute, whatever we call it. All right, so I guess we'll move on to Kmail. And so I am an avid Kmail user. I use it every day. I like the default behavior of Kmail as far as like interacting with it, using your arrow keys, like you use left and right to go through emails and up and down to actually read them. So you can you can go through your emails without actually having to use your mouse to get from one email to the next, which is really nice. I like that. I couldn't do that with Thunderbird, which is another reason I kind of went back to Kmail. And maybe there's a way to do it. I just didn't. I didn't try hard enough. We can say that. But I really like Kmail. It's bundled in with the Plasma desktop. I will say, however, Kmail's had a bit of a rough few years. You know, I think when they first went to
Yes.
Plasma 4, the Akonadi database thing, that was a
Nightmare. Say it.
yeah, it was
Just say it.
like I would say Nightmare would be a little bit light. I would
Yeah.
because you can wake up from a nightmare. But it has been for a long time now, pretty reliable. Every once in a while, the thing that will irritate me is, especially like if I need a notification email, the multi-factor authentication email, it takes forever for it to like get the new mail in. Like I don't know what it's doing. It's going to space and back or something. Every once in a while it happens, and only when I'm in a hurry. So most of the time everything it's pretty smooth, but sometimes it goes to the database. And every once in a while I go through and I manually vacuum the database down a little bit. There's a Econati vacuum command. I learned how to tweak and get Kmail to behave properly. I learned a bunch of stuff of interacting with it. I spent a lot of time in the Akonadi console as well. I don't know if you ever play in that, Dale. It's where you can actually go and debug things if there's problems. And
Yeah, I have not done that very much. I've most of my coding is in Godot, and
Okay.
I don't work 50 hours a week. I've only got so much time.
I got you. No, I understand. You need to like have fun with computers, not just keep working on them. Totally get it.
Yeah,
I understand.
for me, yeah.
But what I like is I like the Kmail suite or the KDE personal information manager. So the contacts, calendar, mail client, and then even like a newsreader if you want to do that. But I don't use the newsreader anymore. So anyway, that's pretty cool. And then actually I want to read this from. I want to go back a little, just a quick thing on the Thunderbird from. So thank you, Mike, for putting this in the chat. It says Mozilla Thunderbird is still associated with Mozilla, but its development and management have evolved. Thunderbird is now operated by MZLA Technologies Corporation, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Mozilla Foundation, established in January of 2020, to explore new products and services and generate revenue through partnerships and non-charitable donations. While Thunderbird remains a free open source email client, its development is handled by this subsidiary with oversight from the Thunderbird Council, elected by the community. This structure allows Thunderbird to maintain its connection with Mozilla's ecosystem and principles like open standards and user privacy while operating independently. So Thunderbird never truly left Mozilla, but it's managed under a distinct entity within the Mozilla family to better support its growth and sustainability. I thought there was a while though I thought they discontinued the project and it was picked up entirely by the community. I don't know. Or maybe that's part of the transfer. Could have sworn I heard on a podcast at one time. I don't know. Sean, did you want to bring that up about Proton Mail? That little statement?
Yeah. So I honestly do like Thunderbird. I used it for years, but when I went to Proton Mail as an email provider, there is a piece of software that they call Proton Mail Bridge that will allow you to use Thunderbird with Proton Mail, but it only handles the mail, not the calendar or anything else. So I just use the official client from Proton Mail at this point.
Got it. I got it. Okay. So you're a Proton Mail user. I have not gotten on the Proton Mail wagon. I use private email as my email provider that uses that. And then I host like cubiclemate.com email and Linux Saloon. That all is done through that. That's how I handle that. But it was also fairly inexpensive.
I think
So,
personal mail is the plan I'm on is like $5 a month. So,
okay.
yeah, pretty cheap.
Now, to someone who says, "Well, I just use Gmail," they probably would think that's not cheap.
That's more than a free Gmail account, but then again, I don't have Google reading my emails. So there's that.
Yeah, no, I do. Obviously, I have a Gmail account because I have a YouTube account to have Linux Saloon on YouTube. But I don't use it as my primary email, and it I think it just catches things right now. Like it says I'm at and it says I'm at 95% of my quota. So I guess I should probably get rid of some of these 10,000 some odd emails. Probably all junk. I won't worry about it. So yeah, anyway.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Nope. What you have to say is far more important than any segue I was about to do.
Oh, I don't know about that. Not in my state today. So I have a general question, I guess. I have 4 Gmail accounts I interact with under regular, everyday, and a couple of Microsoft accounts. I just do it Outlook via web and Gmail because it's so easy with a bunch of tabs in Firefox, right? So no friction, very mouse happy. Don't care for that. I'd prefer to have a keyboard interfacing with my email client. So given what's out there, see, I've lost it already. That newfangled birdie thing, Thunderbird, and whatever the new one is, I forgot.
Betterbird.
Betterbird. Jeez. So Thunderbird and Betterbird, and evolution that no one has really spoken about. If I have 5 to 6 different accounts open as tabs on an email client residing on my machine, with the most egregious ones having 70,000 plus entries in their inbox, what do I do? Keeping on with what I'm doing, or do you think there's an email client out there that can deal with my scenario?
So I would say, I mean, I don't know what you use for your desktop environment, but I do know that Kmail can handle multiple email
Linux,
accounts.
Mint.
Okay. So I know that I've used Thunderbird for handling multiple email accounts, and I did not have any issues with that because I had my Cubicle Nate email, then I had my Gmail, a couple of Gmail accounts, and then another email account attached to it. So I know that it handles that no problem, like none at all. It's totally fine. So you can use Thunderbird for that. Maybe Betterbird might be better. I don't know. Be worth checking out for sure. And then there's Evolution. Have you tried that one? I think it's a GTK.
Not
based.
yet. Tom, what's his name? A walk-in Christ guy. Yeah, so Tom was the one who was sort of coaching me through it, and I never did embrace it very much because it was very, I don't know, its interface was very obtuse to me for some reason. It's been a few years.
Okay.
Switched to Linux guy, yeah. Sorry, I'm
Oh,
working
yeah.
on like a day and a half of no sleep here, so it's pretty rough.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Francois
Good, man.
Revol says, I have several accounts in Thunderbird, including Gmail. Any chance you'd have a Microsoft account?
Exchange.
In Exchange, yeah.
That's
Like 2 of my
interesting.
accounts are Exchange things
Are they 360?
hosted
Are they
by
365?
whatever.
Office 365? Or are they
Sure. My IT guy does that. I think it's 365, yes.
Yeah, I know that 365 with Kmail does not work properly. It's not stable at all. So don't try Kmail. So I guess what I can do then is I can tell you to check out. Now this probably will not be Not a great answer, but it is what I use personally for Outlook stuff. It's called Prospect Mail. I did actually write an article on this some time ago, and it's what I use to use Microsoft Office 365 email in Linux. So it's like Outlook but less crashy.
Okay.
And you can do multiple email accounts with it. It's not, I will say, it's not great, like multiple Office 365 email accounts, but it does work because I have a couple that I use through it.
This is Exchange, yeah. We do have Exchange. I just checked. Boy,
so you
that's
can try
a busy
that.
screen. All right. Thank you for that.
I did to little self promotion here, but there is an article here you can check out from cubicle8.com where I used it, and I would say it's the best Outlook experience I've had. But double check, talk to your doctor, see if it's right for you, and before you make any commitments.
Yeah, I raised this question with people in my office, and resoundingly the response was, how about if you use Windows? There's no friction there. Yeah,
How about I
not the
drop
answer I was
kick your
looking for.
computer? How about that?
So I've
There's no
used. Go ahead.
There's no friction until you try and open the window, and then there's a lot of friction.
It's true. Unless you have one of those really old, like single pane wooden windows that have the weights in it, and the weight rope broke, and then it falls very easily.
And
So-
somebody painted over it. Yeah. Those.
Oh yeah, then you can't open it either. Yeah, when it's painted, like been painted one too many times and it's just painted shut.
Yep.
They have to use like a razor blade to cut it. That's a good time right there. So this works really well, I find, and I check multiple mailboxes with it. So I have multiple mailboxes that I check with this, and so it works. It works very well for me. In fact, it's open right now. Prospect Mail, and I just separate it all out for my personal email. But although I have used Kmail to more quickly parse the emails, because the search in Outlook is terrible. It's probably the worst. So I would say Kmail does a better job if you want to search through it, but it's just not stable. Now I do know, because I was talking to some developers, one in particular this last week, and I do know there's actually a concerted effort right now to get the whole Exchange and Office 365 functionality working more good with Kmail, and so there's actually concerted effort being put into this. So maybe in the next 6 months, year or so, that should probably be dialed in.
So question, you say you're using Prospect Mail right now.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still using it as an app image?
Yes.
No surprises.
None yet.
Theming is wonderbar.
The theming is great when I use an app image. There's a snap available too, I believe, and I think there's also a Flatpak. But the only reason I went with the app image is just because the menus look right. Otherwise, the menus look goofy with Flatpak, and I could use a snap, I suppose. But I like app images, because then if I don't like the version, I can just go back to the other one.
Right.
Exactly.
In fact, I think as much as everybody will basically disagree with me, that is technically more competent than I am, I think app images are the best.
I totally agree.
Me too.
That's where it's at.
If only you could manage them, more centrally. I guess App Image Launcher is fine for that, but the updates. So some app images will update, some will not. Some are manual, but actually some of them I like that are manual. Like for instance, because this is an app image tangent, but like Orca Slicer, I always keep 2 or 3 versions of Orca Slicer just in case something doesn't work. Then I can jump back to an older version. Because it's such an important application, so I can't be without. Anyway, yeah. So check out Prospect Mail for your all your
Absolutely.
Office 365 Outlook email needs. and maybe it won't. Maybe it just won't work for you, but it's what I use. So, and
I'll
then
give it a
just as a
shot.
secondary
Thank you.
plug, I do have another article on cubiclenate.com where I talk about a nearly seamless experience using Linux in a Windows dominant or Microsoft dominant environment.
Well, we don't have that in Flatpak, that prospect mail.
It's not a Flatpak.
No. But I was I just wanted to look at it, but yeah, not in a Flatpak. Yeah.
Nearly seamless integration. That's what it's called. Nearly seamless integration of OpenSUSE in a Microsoft Office 365 environment. All right, and so I guess Sean, you said you use ProtonMail primarily just in the web client. I think it was.
No, not the web client, the application, the desktop client.
ElectronMail.
Yeah, I use ElectronMail right now. I kind of go back and forth depending on whether the official client or ElectronMail has more bugs at the moment for me.
So the what are the differences between ElectronMail and the ProtonMail client?
The ProtonMail client handles things a little bit more seamlessly, with a couple of the ancillary things that you can do with it, such as setting up email alias kind of stuff. Like so you don't give a suspicious website your email, that sort of thing. But other than that, they're pretty similar.
Okay. You said like whichever one has less bugs. So are they like adding features, and then sometimes those features kind of break things, or is there some other thing that trips up?
Yeah, occasionally like ElectronMail kind of like loses sync with the features or like the gateway to ProtonMail, and it kind of goes offline for a bit, and then I just switch back over to the official client, and when that has issues with me or I have issues with it, then I switch back. So really doesn't matter to me either way. It's just like whichever one is working at the time.
Got it. Okay. I think that makes sense.
Yes. It's software, nothing works.
And that's all that matters, right? That it works.
Yep. End of the day, it works. I'm good.
Yep. Yeah, I used ProtonMail I had a client once that wanted to communicate with me via them. He was an interesting duck that I ended up getting rid of after about a year. But I liked ProtonMail. It was nice. It was very feature rich. Other than the proxy you had to basically load on your machine to make it work with Thunderbird. If you didn't want to load their own client. So it was pretty nice. So
Yeah, like with most things in Linux and in life, there are choices, and it's just like use whatever works for you. So
Yep. Totally agree. So Don Lackland says, I read that Microsoft is dropping Skype for Teams. That's correct. In fact, Skype or Teams is just lipstick on the Skype pig. So it's not, they're not actually different, really. It's the same thing.
The interface is a lot crappier for the Teams. I use Skype. I've been using Skype since its beginnings, I think 2004-ish. And I deal with people all over the world, different ages, different cultures and what have you on a regular basis, and not having Skype anymore, it's just like, oh. And I've tried the MS Teams. It's fatter, it's buggier, it's slower. Calling landline can be, you have to go through a web interface as opposed to your app, even on Windows. So, yeah. They were kind enough to transfer my monetary credit from Skype to Teams, so that was nice. Yeah.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Yeah. The whole thing with I think if you're gonna use Teams, if you're talking like one-on-one with people, I would probably like look at, if you wanted open source, maybe look at Jitsi. I think that's a pretty good. When you get more than one person on, though, it gets a little buggy in my experience, but with one-on-one, it usually is pretty tip-top.
Yeah, my situation is somewhat unique in that a number of the peoples are in Europe speaking German. Some are in South America speaking a mixture of Low German or Spanish. People in Canada and maybe one or two in Florida, and all of this is happening at one time. And unless I get them involved with Zoom, I have a paid subscription to Zoom, so it's easy to do it for however long. But the biggest hassle I have is a lot of these folks are in their 80s. And I set up Skype as a one-touch thing on their tablet, and life was good. Now it's like this big emotional moment trying to get anything else running for them. So, yeah.
Yeah, I bet, and especially the whole like Zoom thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you talk to them? Tell them it's like the Juno mail from years ago, but just different.
My German is pretty poor, like non-existent. So I've taken to it's so bad. I've taken to setting up tablets and FedExing it all over the place, just so they can have something to work with, and they have to take it to the local tech guru and get it onto the internet, and yeah.
So
it was less painful than dealing with different time zones. Yeah.
That's good times, though.
Yeah.
No. Absolutely not. But I'm kind of married to a woman who's, requires me to do this. So, yeah.
You're a good husband.
I'm an idiot. That's what I am. I should just give them the deer in the headlamp look and go, what? What are you talking about? I don't know. I don't know. The most beautiful words in the English language, I think. I don't know.
Tell them you were too busy playing stick and hoop.
I don't even know what that means.
Just like stick and hoop, just like playing.
Oh my
gosh. You must be too young for that.
No, in the old country, worn out bicycle tires and a twig off the side of the street.
Stick and hoop.
That was our idea of a gift from my dad.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Frugal living in a fourth world country. So yeah, stick and hoop. Okay, we just call it a tire and a stick.
Hey, that works.
I always do like my buddy in California did. His wife asked him to paint a room. And so what did he do? He spilt the paint on the carpet.
Brilliant.
Never has to do any home improvements ever again.
Yeah, he probably doesn't get laid again either.
So I find I can save a lot of money on home improvements if I just don't do them.
Yeah, I know.
I used to do that, but no, it gets expensive.
Yeah.
You run out of time, then you have to hire somebody, and I don't know if you've noticed, just trying to get somebody to do yard work around here is, woo!
I understand.
I used to get some kid for about $20 an hour, and now the same kid, kid's younger brother, oh, that'll be 35, thank you very much. Well, is that right? Okay.
Inflation,
How fast
you know?
do you work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you see people like working their ass off, it's one thing to pay them what they're worth because they're working their ass off, right? But they're just sitting there with their thumb up their butt. Like you're like, this is gonna cost me a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
true.
You can figure it out pretty quick. So yeah.
It's good times. All right, so I want to move on to evolution. Does anybody here use that's like the GNOME default, isn't it?
The
Evolution.
GNOME? You mean the GNOME, right?
GNOME, yes. Or is it
Yes.
genome?
No,
Just
oh
genome?
no. A genome is like something else, I think, right?
Genome?
Nome
know.
is a town in northern Alaska. Genome is like biology stuff. And then GNOME is that horrible desktop in Linux.
I like the pretentious sounding genome. I, uh,
Yeah.
I think
Genome.
that one works well. Genome.
If you really want to kick it
I'm
up,
en français, please.
if you really want to kick it up, it could be Genome.
Yeah.
Ooh. That sounds even fancier.
Yeah.
I
When I
like
was
churching this up.
I was just going to say, when I was having my mental breakdown with Thunderbird and its bugs, I looked at this for about 5 minutes and then I uninstalled it.
Wow.
Yeah, I was not impressed at all.
I think that's a pretty typical response, actually.
What was not so impressive about it? Just it look and feel like, did it look old school?
It was, well, I mean, yeah, but that doesn't really bother me that much. It was just, it didn't have any real features to it.
Spartan.
Yeah, it was very Spartan. I mean, if you had one personal email account, yeah, it would probably be fine for you. But trying to manage 7 and 2 of them be high traffic email accounts, no.
Which is exactly my situation. So
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I think pretty much everyone in the GNOME, like, development section, like, I'm not really impressed with their so-called ingenuity. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we don't wanna-
I've literally gotten into fights with a couple of the GNOME devs.
Well, I also know, Shaston, you are a little bit combative too. So
Yeah, but I'm not combative like when I like come in and say, "Hey, I have an issue with my terminal. Every time I hit the X, it like waits like 3 seconds, and there's a guy who already presented a fix for it. Can we revisit the fix?" That's it.
I think the one thing I will say very positive about Evolution is it has a very pleasant look about it. There's something just
Oh, yeah.
very pleasant about its appearance. Whether that matches up with the user experience or not, I don't know. I've never actually used it, but it's nice to know that GNOME or Genome has a
GNOME.
Genome as Genome. Is that what Sean said? As a
Something like that.
default
yeah.
client. It's nice to have
See,
that.
I just like how like all the GNOME devs they lose their shit whenever they hear someone call it that GNOME desktop GNOME. So I think it's only right that we just keep
Well, I was actually corrected one time.
poking
It
the
was
bear.
called GNOME. Anyway, doesn't really matter. So
Yeah,
yeah. So I guess check that out if you're on the GNOME desktop. Genome. I don't even know what it's called anymore now. I'm so confused.
Je nomme toi.
There we go. check that out. I'm wondering if anybody in the chat uses GNOME. Ga. Oh, like Klingon food. Yeah, that's a good one, Dale.
Yeah. I guess somebody might use the GNOME desktop if they don't want to get anything done.
I mean, the email client, I mean, it's a clean.
You are just full of spit and fire tonight. I love it.
Come on, I bet I'm a typical Gen Xer, man.
Sarcastic.
And just to build on that, I have to punctuate it by saying, on the rare occasion when I actually did run GNOME, it reminded me of when I first arrived in Canada from the dark nether regions of South America, and I literally walked into a glass door twice because I had no idea there was something there, and I didn't know why I could not get through this glass door. Not the smartest whip around. So yeah, it was
new.
Using GNOME was like walking into that glass wall. It's not there, but it is there. It's stopping me from doing what I want. Okay, I'm done.
I got it. I hear you. Glass doors. So Don Lackland says a penny spent on a house saves $1 tomorrow. A penny spent on a house today saves $1 tomorrow. While $1 spent on a boat today saves you a penny tomorrow.
Okay.
Just in case it was important to you. I think it's funny. All right. And then, since you brought it up there, Shaston, you and your Gen X ways, not that I can poo-poo on that because, NeoMutt, a terminal-based client. Tell me about this NeoMutt and what you liked about it.
All right. So, I actually just like the feature of being able to write emails while I was offline, and then it just like as soon as I connected the internet, I could send them without actually like hitting the button.
Oh.
And that was a while back, but that was like something novel to me. Like, oh, I can because like back in the day, like when we did actually write emails, like I don't think anybody writes emails anymore, but unless they want to send you spam.
I still write emails. In fact, I talk to a lot of people via email only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good for you. Yeah.
I might be the only one, and the people who I talk to.
Yeah. But I just remember like that was novel, like for me. And it was cool that I could do it through my terminal. I was like, dude, this is cool.
So would you combine that with something
Yeah.
like a Tmux? So you could have like a multiple pages, like leave it like set up a
Yeah, you
desktop.
can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I did that because actually I only got into Tmux like 2 or 3 years ago. So this actually I set up NeoMutt like almost 10 years ago. And so yeah, I just like being able to be in the terminal and like I could just like I didn't have to like touch my mouse every time I wanted to like go to a new email and things like that. Like I could just do everything from my keyboard.
Oh, I totally get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like those little hacks, to keep your hands on your keyboard.
Yeah, I like that too. Which is actually why I like Kmail. I don't know why I hadn't looked for a text or terminal-based email client before. Like I didn't even think of that until today.
Yeah.
But I'm a little slow sometimes, so.
Yeah, NeoMutt's kind of I remember it was kind of hard to set up a little bit, but once you get it set up, like then you kind of understand, like, because they do things so so like you have to know like what is it, like the whole like email protocol and stuff. And I remember I didn't really know much about it at the time. But I do now.
Yeah.
But I recall using Pine back at school, the
Oh,
tiling window manager session. They were still logging in with CDE. I already had read my mail. Hmm.
I
what's
remember fun.
this? I
Yeah.
never heard of Pine. Tell me
I
about Pine.
haven't either.
Is that still a thing?
Yeah,
Pine?
yeah.
Is that Sean
Somebody
thing?
in the chat, no, somebody was
Oh, Francois.
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 Yeah, okay.
I'm just impressed he used CDE, the common desktop environment.
Wow. Man, that's been a while. Pine is not elm. Oh, I
Pine is
see.
not what?
That's what it means. Elm.
Oh, okay. One of
Yeah.
those, like wine. Wine is not an emulator. Wine means wine.
Yeah.
Or GNU is not Unix.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still a thing. Wait, maybe not.
Yeah, pine is not elm, huh? I'll have to check that out, actually. That sounds interesting to me.
There's Pine Email
Yeah,
Framework.
Pine's pretty much gone, but the successor Alpine is still out.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
used Pine back in the day on DOS 3.3, talking to universities primarily.
oh, okay, I see.
It's very clean, very, very fast, straight up text.
Pegasus. I remember something about that, but I don't, off the top of my head, I don't remember what they're asking if there was an email client called Pegasus, but I remember something about Pegasus, but it'll take me a minute
Yeah,
to
yeah. Pegasus Mail was done for the college, wasn't it? Originally?
that's probably what I remember.
Yeah, I think it
Okay.
was done for the colleges. It was an easy email client to get ready to run for like on a server, like if you had a college or a small company. It
Ah,
wasn't horrible. It was pretty simplistic. It was pretty nice actually. I remember using it like back in maybe 1998, 99 era.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember that actually now. That's what it was, because it was like there was something about it. Now I do remember it because when I was in college, it was a while back, like 95, 96. That was what they used at my community college. And this is when email kind of first came out. And so, yeah. And I remember it didn't work. They didn't know how to network it properly or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, the early days of the internet, I suppose.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Man, I just remember like when I first saw like Windows 95, I was just like that was like I mean, I don't know, it was kind of the coolest thing. And my dad bought a Mac and I found that I liked the Mac version even better. And I didn't know anything about Linux at the time.
did you ever use the Amiga?
Eh, Never. I used, so you know what's funny though is like in 98, 99. I used BSD because I had this huge laptop, like the ones that are like, 4 inches thick. I had one of those.
The quality
And it
clones,
came
yeah.
with Windows, yeah, it came with Windows 95. And for whatever reason, I couldn't connect to the internet, like through the modem. And so I was talking to a friend of mine about it. He's like, well, what do you need? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, I want to search the internet, send email. He's like, I can help you. And so he installed BSD on it,
Hmm.
and it worked. and I could actually connect to the internet.
And then you came to Linux after that?
Yeah, much after. Yeah, like probably 7, 8 years after that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my early days with like 2001, 2002, I saw people using Linux, but they spent more time fussing with their computer than actually doing work. And so,
The
like,
good
I was
days.
like, yeah, the good days, the good old days. Yeah, you know, I, I don't know. I just didn't see that as a good time. Like, even when my friends set up like the BSD, like that, like it was it never missed a beat, like ever. Like, yeah, I didn't have to fuss with anything. I didn't really do anything on it, but I mean, I just searched email and that sort of thing. Yeah,
So, Mike, you said,
that
does anybody use Mailspring or Spike? I've never heard of Spike.
I haven't either. Mailspring I've heard of.
Yeah, I've heard of Mailspring, but I haven't even looked into it at all.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
got like a free for personal use client, but it is a closed closed source product, but they have it for Linux.
Okay. I said Spike is the client?
Uh-huh. There's
Spike now.
It's kind of a email and group chat built in together.
I've never heard of this. Could be interesting.
hopefully it's more interesting than GNOME.
Well, initially it says manage your inbox with AI-powered efficiency. So I'm immediately skeptical as soon as I see that.
Okay, that just did it in for me too.
So now you're sold. The one thing I would say, and I don't trust Spike
Boy.
because I just don't trust it, but I would be. It would probably be with as many emails as I have to process. It probably would be nice to have something like an AI local going through it, just to sum up like a thread of emails.
Another one is Geary, Geary.
Oh yeah, Geary, that's a good one.
That's the one I was thinking of when you were talking about evolution with Geary.
That's an open source project.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out too.
I remember trying Geary like a number of years ago, but the last time I did, the application just didn't work correctly for some unknown reason.
Huh.
Geary email. Oh, it's another GNOME one. Maybe it's supposed to replace
Yeah, of
Evolution.
course. Or the other way around.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I see it right here on it's a flat pack. Let's see how good it is.
It looks kind of flat.
Yeah, let's see how good it is.
It looks
Kind of has an
pretty basic.
outlook. Yeah. Which is probably
Yeah,
perfect for a lot of people.
yeah,
There was
yeah.
another one.
Probably not, probably one of the like few things that GNOME put out that wasn't horrible. I do like gedit or what's the other one? Genie. I don't mind like those are pretty good actually. For like, a text editor. So like every once in a while they have like apps that are okay, I guess. This might be one of
Junction.
those.
Junction is a great GTK-based application.
Oh,
It's so like if I click, let's say, on a link in Prospect Mail, but it's something that I want to go take to Firefox instead of Edge because Firefox works better in some cases for things. that I can direct where I want my links, my HTML links to go. So it works.
Oh.
It's a very nice thing, Junction. In fact, there's an article on cubicle8.com. Too many plugs.
Yeah, this is not terrible though. I'm looking at the couple of pictures that they have in Flatpaks. I installed it, but I'll launch it later and take a look at it. That Geary doesn't look terrible though. Yeah.
Well, cool. Any other email clients you want to bring up here? I don't know if there's anything in the chat here. So, what's that?
In the chat, I just posted a link. Claws.
Oh, Clausmail.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cosmo. I haven't heard that one in a while.
Yeah.
I haven't either.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know if I ever tried it. I've heard of it obviously, but I don't know that I've ever actually tried it.
It has a very early 2000s look.
Yeah.
And so does the website. So Clawmail is an email client and newsreader based on GTK Plus, featuring quick response, graceful and sophisticated interface, easy configuration, intuitive operation, abundant features, extensibility, and robustness and stability.
Let's see here. They should have a flat pack on this, right? Yeah, Claws Mail. Let's take a look at it. It's not rated very high. But oh yeah, this actually doesn't look it's very interesting. It's it looks
I want to say
kind
I've
of
used
like
this
that.
before.
Yeah, this looks like that Microsoft garbage that we ran away from.
It looks like the old original Microsoft Mail. Remember?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like yeah, this is what we ran away from.
It does have a bunch of plugins available for it too, or add-ons
Oh, yeah, let me see.
on the website. It shows them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see that. And it is open source, so there's a plus there. Yeah. Just pick one and use it. Pantheon email. Did anyone ever use Pantheon email? I don't remember ever seeing it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a good link to it. I got a Reddit. See something on Reddit about it, but looks like Flat Hub's got it.
Pantheon. Nope, it's not a flat pack. Would not know.
See Pantheon tweaks. Yeah, I don't know that one. Maybe it might have to be like in the elementary ecosystem to get that one. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Pantheon email.
So
Found
Chris
it
says
in a Geary email wiki.
okay. So Chris is recommending Outlook Express because that's the kind of guy Chris is.
Yeah, all that proprietary garbage. Sorry, Chris.
So what do we know about
But-
Mailspring?
I think that's proprietary, right?
It is. Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
proprietary?
But they do offer
Yeah.
clients for Linux. So.
My cats are foodies like me, so I understand them. John, exactly. If you want to live while you sleep, you know, because cats, they do not forgive, especially when it comes to food. No, Mean Claus looks like OE. Oh, okay. So Chris is saying that clause looks like Outlook Express.
Oh, I see.
He
Yeah.
he corrected himself. That's actually yes. Ooh, Eudora.
Oh yeah, oh my God, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I use that.
Mailspring does have a flat pack too, so there's that.
Yes, it does.
I think they have a free
Does it?
personal version.
What's that?
I think they have a free personal version that you can use.
I don't. Yeah, they have a pro.
Yeah, there's like a pro version you can subscribe to.
Oh, there's Heather. Hi, Heather.
That's neat, actually. I don't know. I mean,
I
don't know
loved
what I would,
Outlook Express.
I don't know what I would get out of Mailspring that I couldn't get. So actually, Ron, you might want to try Mailspring because they do tout it as having a unified email box of different emails. So if you want to have one unified box, like Kmail does that.
Mm-hmm.
Send later, mail rules, templates.
Can you like forward your like all of that Microsoft Mail or whatever it is to a different email account? And then
you could forward.
I think you could do that. Yeah.
But I think it wouldn't be as clean of a setup, and some organizations would probably have issue with you doing that. So
yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could tell them you're using Proton Mail and say it's actually secure.
They would still take
I
umbrage with that.
Hey, I was just thinking about something. I was trying to think about features of Thunderbird or Betterbird or any of those variants that I liked over the other email clients when I was trying to find one to stick with. And Thunderbird and its variants have one feature that I did not see in any other email client. And that was you could right click on an email, like an existing email, and one of the options there was to send as a new message. So if you wanted to, instead of having to forward something and go down through all the different levels to get to it, you could just click on that original email and say, send this new message and put your sender in and go,
So Kmail has a option to edit as new to reply. Might be similar.
Yeah, sounds like it. I've never tried Kmail.
I think it's pretty rad.
Never tried Katie's mail app either.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever tried it, to be honest. Like, and it's pretty funny because like Plasma has some really, really good applications, normally. I just never have actually sat down and tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The one that
Kmail's good now.
Yeah, because I remember, I don't really remember this, but I've heard it wasn't the best back in like the olden days from what I've heard.
It was great, and then Google came into the world and changed how email's handled, and so that broke a lot of things with Kmail. So.
Shoot.
Yeah,
I've
that's a lot
heard
of
that. Well, the only reason I have an email account made is because it's what I've always used for years outside of AOL, and plus the fact that I need it for my for YouTube stuff. So.
Got it. Makes sense.
Yeah, and
Makes
YouTube
sense.
is where I mostly watch all my tutorials and videos and crap. So, otherwise, if YouTube wasn't a thing, I probably wouldn't have it. But, yeah. And also, it's what I use for StormOS and whatever. So, yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't use it much, but I used to.
I gotcha.
So, Anyway, so anything else in email clients?
I think we've long drawn out that one.
I think we've beaten that horse down.
Beating it to the bushes and back again.
That. All right. Well,
I think I'm gonna. Oh, go ahead.
no, you say, Shaston, go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Go for it. I was just gonna say, I might actually write me an email client in NeoVim.
I think you should. I think that. I think you should, and I would love to. I would love to feature that on a community free pour.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So it's that time for housekeeping. Next week
Yes.
is an open mic night, so it's gonna be any sort of topics that's Linux tech and open source related is on the table for discussion. So it's can be anything tangentially related. So sometimes we go off on vintage tech rabbit holes and have all kinds of fun. So open mic night next week. If you have any suggestions, send them to suggestions@linuxsaloon.com or tag in one of the texts or one of the tag in IRC, on Discord or Telegram. Make sure you hit myself or Eris, and we can get that put into our list
Nate,
of things.
We haven't looked at a desktop environment in a long daggone time.
We haven't.
We should look. Yeah, we should look at tiling window managers.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, God. No, that's actually a neat idea, Shaston, because I'm going to mention this. I'm on Gen 2 on this new computer, and I'm going to say this. I recently started looking at Hyperland, actually.
Hyperland's good.
Yeah, I haven't customized it yet, but I'm actually writing, with Ricky's help, our own config of it, actually.
Oh?
Yeah, we're reading the Hyperland docs, and we're looking into making each other's own config for it. Actually, we're co-op deving it. Actually,
Oh, I think we're putting Anna Rita to sleep.
Oh.
Chat.
As soon as you start talking about anything super uber technical, she'll
she'll pass.
yeah. Ooh, how about
I
GNOME
use
48?
Compass, is what she says.
Yeah, how about GNOME
See,
48?
that's an old one, but it's
Well,
good.
Yeah, you should get with the times. Now it's what is it?
Wayfire.
Yeah.
Fire, yeah. She'll
Give her
get
some
there
time.
eventually.
She'll get there.
Hey,
She uses Mint.
but yeah, yeah.
Oh,
All right. So
you
anyway,
use
if you have
that
any
distro.
poll ideas or any application appetizer ideas or distro suggestions, please send them to suggestions@linuxsaloon.com or tag me in anything over there. So we'll go ahead and move on to the news and open discussion. I did want to bring up a news topic that I thought was relatively interesting because apparently Microsoft is making everybody angry again. So Microsoft's new passwordless by default is great, but comes at a cost. Do you like the idea of passwordless login? Does that interest anybody?
I don't really use that kind of thing.
So Microsoft-
Me neither. I use passwords on everything. It's just a form of security for me.
That makes sense. So Microsoft says it's making passwordless logins the default means for signing into new accounts. It means for signing into new accounts. As the company helps drive the industry-wide push to transition away from passwords and the costly security problems that have created for companies and their users. The key part of the passwordless by default initiative, Microsoft announced on Thursday, is encouraged to use the use of passkeys, the new alternative to passwords that Microsoft, Google, Apple, and large roster of other companies are developing under the coordination of the FIDO Alliance. Going forward, Microsoft will make passkeys a default means for new users to sign in. Existing users who have yet to enroll a passkey will be presented with a prompt to do so the next time they log in. The push to passkeys is fueled by the tremendous cost associated with passwords. Creating and managing a sufficiently long, randomly generated password for each account is a burden on many users. A difficulty that often leads to weak choices and reused passwords. Leaked passwords have also been a chronic problem. What's more, over the past decade, attacks such as password spraying have grown increasingly effective at breaching sensitive networks, Microsoft's own included. So, here's the fine print. So left out of Microsoft's announcement is that even after users create a passkey, they can't go passwordless until they install the Microsoft Authenticator app on their phone. Microsoft has made Authy, Google Authenticator, and similar apps incompatible, a choice that needlessly inconveniences users and undermines the whole passwordless by default marketing message. Using Microsoft's Authenticator isn't a requirement for using a passkey, but account holders who don't have it will be unable to ditch their login passwords. With a password still associated with the account, many of the security benefits of passkeys are undermined. Passkeys, part of the FIDO Alliance WebAuthn standard, in theory provides a means of authentication that's immune to credential phishing, password leaks, and password spraying. Under the latest FIDO 2 version of WebAuthn, it creates a unique public-private encryption key pair during each enrollment that's generated and stored on the user's phone, computer, YubiKey, or similar device. WebAuthn parlance, this device is called an authenticator. The public portion of the key is sent to an account service. The private key remains bonded to the user device, which then can be extracted. So it goes on, but basically Microsoft accounts with Microsoft Authenticator enrolled are one of the few that offer the option to go truly passwordless. For those who aren't willing to install the app, their account will still be associated with this easily compromised shared secret. And in that case, some of the key benefits of passkeys are muted. So, what do you think? I mean, having password plus some sort of like a one of those time codes. What are those called? The TOTP, TO. What are those? I can't remember the name of it. So, I would rather use giving Microsoft basically the authenticator and having the account. Isn't that kind of like giving the putting the foxes in charge of the hen house?
No, because unfortunately, like the whole idea behind passkeys is like you would have something like say on your thumb drive that would authenticate from your side of, and it would have nothing to do with them.
Well, yeah,
They're
it's
just
like
recognized. It's just like a bank account, how they recognize like your information.
But they're forced to
because
use their authenticator though.
Well, so does a bank.
What
What's the difference?
Well,
What's the difference?
I would rather use my own authenticator, like Bitwarden, instead.
Oh, I
Or
got you,
Duo.
but like if you have a bank account and you access your bank account online, you're using the bank's authenticator.
Right, but they
And
don't
actually,
have
I
their own
don't
authenticator
think you
application.
could use, and I don't, well, they may not have their own application, but the basically the only authenticator is just the part that recognizes whether your authentication is authentic or if it's a fake.
So I'm talking about the authenticator application. So Microsoft is forcing the use of their authenticator application to access. So you have to install
I understand
Microsoft
what you're
Authenticator
saying.
on the phone, and I have a problem with that.
I mean, I do too, but I don't. I think there's worse things in the world, but yeah, I know what you're saying. Like it's like, yeah. I have a problem with just the whole Microsoft having a phone app, period. But like they can't build anything correctly anyway, like an operating system, for example, or Teams or anything else that they get their hands on. They seem to ruin. Well, except for language server protocols, LSP servers are great.
I'll take your word
That's
for it.
about it. But you don't use LSPs at all?
I haven't.
Like when you code?
No.
Oh, all right.
I don't code.
So I wonder
That's a
what's the
bad script.
downside of a username, a password, and like TFA being accomplished with a 4-digit number
a 6-digit, I think. So I think
or 6
to
or
me,
whatever.
to me, I mean, everything can be compromised. I suppose. I think they're trying to make it more
Yeah,
like
if I'm sitting there with a gun at my head.
Well, sure, there's that too. But then I might get nervous and not remember my password anyway. I think, I don't know. I prefer the username and password model, and then maybe another factor of authentication. I prefer that. I guess I haven't seen how. I mean, I know that SMS is the least secure way to do the multi-factor authentication. I think potentially email. I don't know if that's more or less secure than SMS for that other factor of authentication, because you do have encrypted connection between your system and the remote system. So yeah, so Don Lackland even says TFA has to be out of band, and SMS is the most common TFA, is hilariously weak. So,
Yeah.
and then also Anna Rita says, I don't do any banking online. She's probably the last person that they're keeping that place open for. But
Yeah. But see, you know what I don't understand is why aren't you just using SSH keys to validate all this? I mean, honestly, that would be the easiest way for, like, Microsoft wouldn't even need to make an app like this. Like, I mean, you know, like if you use Get, for example, how do you now have to do, like, you have to register your SSH key. Why
Well,
isn't it the same thing?
I know I do. I use, keyless. I mean, I guess I use passwordless access to a lot of the different boxes that I administer. I just use my SSH keys that are pre-shared. But if you get my laptop, then you could compromise me, I guess, that way.
Well, that's a pretty big if.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, I suppose, but like you can always put something into place where you can nuke it as well. Like if you lost your laptop or your tablet or whatever. But the simple fact of the matter is, if you lose your thumb drive that has like all your pass keys on it, it would be the same thing.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I think yeah, exactly. Your SSH key should have passphrases on them. Yeah, but I think actually you could actually do that. I just don't see like a really big problem about Microsoft basically doing the same thing that your bank does. Like I don't see a big problem, but you know, and the thing is, like the bank usually forces you to download their app as well. So, and that's part of the verification process. They're just doing what, especially like here in Mexico, like they make me download their stupid app for my bank for the same reason. And anytime
Crazy
I want to
times.
access, yeah. So I don't have as big of a problem with it, but I don't think it's, you won't see me downloading their proprietary garbage.
So, Shaston, in Mexico, to do your banking, you need an app on your device. What device is that? Is it a
An
phone
Android.
or a
Yeah,
computer?
Yeah, phone.
Okay.
So I think what concerns me about all that is a phone which was once considered a luxury item, a smartphone especially, now is a requirement to do business. And that concerns me just a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, it does to me too, because then it's like if I have to call for like customer support and they're like, yeah, but on your app, I'm like, but I don't want to download your fucking app. Like,
Well, I do want to be
hello?
careful. We do have kids watching this, so
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
yeah, it's all
sorry.
right.
Gotcha.
Gotta be
Sorry,
family friendly.
sorry.
It's all right. I won't hold it against you.
I'll keep it
Something good.
friendly. I'll
Yep.
keep it family friendly. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I still love you.
If I
But
could
it is.
just jump in, can I
What's
jump
that?
in for a second?
Yeah.
I was just
Yeah,
going to
please.
say, I always have made it a point to talk, like when I'm working for a larger company and I'm on site sometimes. I always try and talk to their security people about this issue that you're talking about right now. And the consensus seems to be exactly what you said, Nate, is that a username and password with a two-factor authentication of some sort, whether that be an RSA dongle, a, a, a code, an authenticator code, and they even said that the email was a lot more secure, obviously, than the SMS one. So, but any of those three are what people have always recommended to me as being the types to use for two-factor authentication. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some more digging into that. I think there's something to be said for additional security layers. So I think I gotta think this one out.
Yeah.
What's up?
But that was the thing was that they said is just that the more layers you get, the more difficult it's going to be for someone, unless they have access to your computer and you're logged into it already, obviously.
Yeah. It's interesting.
I like the way Royal Bank of Canada does their two-factor username or an account number and a password. After that, you have two choices: TFA accomplished by SMS code sent to you. That's good for about 15 minutes, I believe, or a passphrase, but it's three passphrases and it does random selection of the three. So at any given time when you log in, you log out, you log back in, you're guaranteed to have a different passphrase needed, or the one-time code sent to a cell phone, which I never use. So I like that way of doing things. You just have to remember three passphrases, and
Yeah.
but
I
if you
like
make it memorable,
Mhm.
not your children's birthday and stuff like that.
Maybe your cat's name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess Total Us today says I have complete privacy because I don't use the internet. What are you doing on here? I thought that was funny.
That's great.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah.
And Rick and I are actually buddies with that.
Oh, okay. Who is it?
So
He's a long time. He's old friends with Spatria and I actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I only got a few minutes left. Ben, you said for you and Ricky want to talk about something.
Storm OS, yes, and I'm gonna let Ricky introduce it this time since he hasn't been here in a long dang on time.
Okay, basically, here's the rundown of basically what's going on here. I got with Ben not long ago, and he basically told me that he's got a lot of financial problems in his life going on, and basically
Don't
it's
we
with these
all?
problems, yeah, and it's
Financial,
because
so to speak.
yeah, and it's because of that that me and him thought of um since our buddy Zero Linux made us a StormOS post installing script that basically transforms a normal standard Arch
Right.
Linux install into StormOS. Let's basically go on ahead. Let's basically go on ahead and start the process of getting getting a paid version of StormOS up and running. So what we're doing is the post install script will be available completely free. You don't have to pay for that.
Yeah.
But going forward, starting with the next release, if you want a copy of StormOS, it will be available for basically a $5 donation. Once all the once
Yeah.
the payment methods and stuff is all set up. Basically, once again, this is just basically an idea that Ben brought to my attention to help with his financial situation.
Yeah, because here's the point, guys. I don't have a job yet. I don't know when I will. And my dad's no longer getting any money outside of SSI. So, this is just to help pay the bills, pay, for things that we all need as a family. So sadly, this is just a necessary move that was, something my family and I talked about. It is just something that has to happen, unfortunately. So,
Well,
old Jimmy's got to take care of the family, so to speak. So
what I would
just a
recommend,
necessary thing to
Ben, is
So go ahead,
maybe
Nate.
you should probably also look at, because I don't know what your user base is going to be like, so a lot of things I don't know,
No.
and that's probably something we should talk about like after the show, but you can at least
looking.
you should
Yeah.
probably, I mean, I would recommend be like a pay what you want, because otherwise you could potentially push away the potential of new users if you have a paywall.
Sure.
because
Sure.
because you get,
Well,
unless you
I
have
know that.
unless you have something like really that is something that is very
We do
unique about
actually-
StormOS
but
that's a
we
standout
do-
feature. I'd be very
Yeah.
careful about that.
Yeah.
Others- You may not be able to develop a user base.
Source hub.
Mm-hmm.
But that's for people who, if they want the ISO with no cost, they can still build it themselves. But we have tossed around the thought of, a pay-as-you-go or pay-as-you-want kind of thing. So that way it's not as much of a pain in the butt to get it. But yeah, we can look into having a post show about that.
I think basically, Ben, the more I think about it, I think a pay-as-you-go option is the better way to go. This way, we don't push away our user base, because let me say this, a lot of distros have come and gone over the last few years, and if we push away our user base, StormOS could go completely under.
Right, I see what you're saying, but yeah, we'll worry about that more as the show wraps up. So. Either way, that's sort of our mini update for this week. And also, just one more thing, Ricky and I are planning a second basis, same arch, whatever. But Nate, you're gonna love this. We are bringing back the KDE edition, and it's gonna be again still arch, but it's gonna be based off your beloved Plasma 6, my man.
Well, I'm certainly a fan of Plasma.
We're going to have the same minimal package selection. We're just taking out some of the XFCE stuff and replacing it with KDE. Now, the XFCE version's not going nowhere, but we are going to have a second ISO based off of Plasma.
Roger. Well, good deal. Just make sure you get a
Yes.
good
Now, ETA when a beta version is going to be available, but we are going to start working on that very soon.
Oh, good deal. Well, don't stretch yourself thin, bud.
Yeah. No, we're not planning to stretch ourselves thin. This is just a secondary option for those like yourself who love KDE. So.
I got it. Well, good deal. All right. Well, it is that time for last call.
All right.
So we want to get moving along because we are past time. So anyway, just want to go down. So Ben obviously got the StormOS thing going on. Shaston, are you still doing web related things?
Yeah, NeoVim related things, yeah. And
Okay.
I'm also got a video coming out on Universal Blue and Aurora DX here coming out within the next, I don't know, I'm hoping to get it out this next week, but don't quote me on that. I'm hoping I got like most of it kind of figured out, but I just have to spend the time to record it.
Good deal.
Yeah.
We'll be on the lookout for that. And then I know
Yeah.
Mike Chilson, I guess you still have your BBS up and operational?
Yeah, that's still the one. I started a new project this weekend. I'm going to make because there's not enough markdown editors out there. But
Sweet.
I've been using several, and
NeoVim.
none of them work like I want them to. Okay.
Mm. How
And,
about NeoVim?
well, yeah, I mean, the problem is there needs to be one that can double as both a viewer and a editor that you can set as your default app for, like when you see an MD file and you
Mm-hmm.
click on it, it'll just open in the viewer, and then there'll be a button there to edit it if you want to. So
Mm.
I'm going to make one a little bit different from what's out there. Put it out there because there's not enough of them. We need one more. So
We sure do.
Just another markdown editor. Yeah, we definitely do.
so be thinking of a name for it.
Let's call
Just
it.
yet another markdown editor.
There you go.
It's not the 90s
Yay.
anymore. You can't call it that
Why?
because it's
I
not
mean,
the 90s
we
anymore.
have. Well, yeah, but we have. What's the What's Yower? Yet another.
Yet another AUR helper is what I think it's called.
Yeah,
How about
Yower.
just
Then what's
another one?
Yay? Yet another something or another.
There's yet another system tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so
Yeah,
many
but Yask
different.
looks like it was built in the 90s to your credit.
Yep. See, which is why I like it. All right. So I don't know if Ronnie, if you have anything you wanted to plug, or Sean. Got the East and West from Ron and Sean. It's all right. You don't have to. Orca Slicers, another version coming out soon, probably. I don't know. It's doing great though. All right. Well, I have a website called keepinglate.com. You can check out the things I do there. Also, I have a podcast I'm part of with two great co-hosts, Matt and Wendy. We'll be recording this week, maybe. Maybe I won't be, but at least they will be. So we'll see how that goes. Linux Saloon is part of the Tux Digital Network, so check out more great shows at tuxdigital.com. I want to thank you all for your support, however you do it, being a part of the conversation in both the Zoom meeting and the YouTube stream, as well as everyone for watching the show after the fact. I want to thank everyone involved in making the Linux and open source tools possible for us to not only have this conversation, but also to have fun and enjoy our technology. Linux truly puts personal back into personal computer. Thank you for stopping by. Be sure to tip your developers, and please remember to Linux responsibly. Until next time, see yous.
Good night, everybody.